What's going on, guys? It's draft time. It's draft time. Let's go. Let's go. We're gonna have Josh Breed come on later, one of the beat writers for Liberty Ballers, and after the pick, maybe after Daryl Morey's press conference, hopefully before, we'll get Paul on. Maybe Harrison will come on, but we are looking at a stacked lineup. I have some French fries. I was just eating. I'm so excited. I almost forgot to eat. As you can tell, I'm amped. We've been waiting a long time for this one. If at any point, hope you know this, at any point my mic starts going funky, please let me know. But I mean, who's it going to be, guys? Is it going to be BJ or is it going to be Ace Bailey? Is it going to be a trade back? What is it going to be? Let's get this up a little bit more. Let's go. I'm hyped. What's up, Hope? So yeah, there's a lot of rumors that there's going to be a lot of trades and stuff. So we'll watch the whole first round. I'll see where we could watch the Maury press conference. See if I can pull it up for you guys. But yeah, it should be a fun night. But definitely type in chat. Become a member if you're not already. Hop in chat, and I might just give you VIP so you can watch along with us at the same time that we hear the names. You'll hear the names, but um, you know, it'll be it'll be fine either way because even if it's like a minute before we hear it, we'll still kind of get the excitement of the pick and the reaction. But I am simulcasting on YouTube right now, so if you are more comfortable over there, go check out the YouTube. But here comes Adam Silver. So shouldn't be any drama at the first pick. Josh, okay, yeah, on the team socials and YouTube should be. That's the big thing there. But definitely hop on if you just want to wait till they make the pick. Just because there's really not much more to be said about who they could pick. But once they do, then we can kind of shift our focus to the fit and you know keep going from there. But see what Adam Silver has to say. Edge comes passing isn't there yet, but maybe it can develop. Yeah, he has good processing though, so I do think it can protract well into the NBA. It's not great, but should have been the Pacers. Yo, Ace is hype. Yo, I think Ace's thing has been has been the agent. I think it's been the agent, and I think there's something going on here with Ace. Because VJ just doesn't the potential isn't there. I'm with you, Kung Chui. That's how you pronounce it. I also think the pick could very well be Bailey. I'm honestly at a point where it's 50-50. If you want to go with Maury's been honest, VJ is the clear pick. And if you want to go less risky, VJ is the pick. But if you wanna go a little bit conspiracy brain here, you should go Bailey because this whole time he's been avoiding the Sixers. That's a total play, almost a blatant play by Morey. If he, this is all conspiracy here, no reporting at all, but complete conspiracy that Bailey, they wanted to trade back to like 5, 6, around where the Wizards, around where the Nets are to get Bailey. But uh, now I think they're at a point where no one bid on those trades. They're at a point where they're just going to either take VJ or Bailey. I'm not going to be upset at either. Um, I think if I were the GM, though, I would go with uh, Bailey. The Luka trade compilation is crazy. Yeah, Nico Harrison getting absolutely bailed out. That's awesome. They filled the stadium. Yeah, pick is in. They don't have to waste time. Imagine though. Imagine they go Ace Bailey first overall. That'll be crazy. Hmm. How can Ace Bailey or Cooper Flag look on the Mavs? It'll be interesting to see. I think it'll be a pretty seamless fit. They are going to need a point guard while Kyrie is recovering, but a problem to have now that you have Cooper Flag. Yeah, apparently he's got a brother who's pretty good too, named Ace, which is ironic. But oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, one of my close friends is actually in Maine right now, and he's not in he's in Maine right now. Flag Day. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. There's not much to do in Maine, so this is a they're gonna have a Cooper Flag Day, like you know, actually make it a holiday. I know that was the joke, but Where is Newport in Maine? There it is. All right. Now will we move up? Will we move up? We don't have to wait until, the 20th pick like last year. Yeah, that's gonna happen quick here. By 8:30, we should know. But also, I should mention, just because we make the pick doesn't mean we keep the player. As we know, the NBA has a very weird system in terms of trading on draft day. You're allowed to make the pick of the player and then trade them later. I would say the most popular one that I can remember is the Luka Doncic Trae Young one, where Atlanta picked Luka, I think third overall. Dallas picked Trae Young fifth overall, and and Josh is about to hop on right here whenever he's ready. I just saw the thing, but um, what was that? The I forgot what it was. It's okay. That's crazy. Nico Harrison getting bailed out.
Hey, Drew.
What's going on, Josh? How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. It took me a few minutes to get set up, which is good because this is where the draft might really start, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I like I said, it's going to happen pretty quickly here. But where do you think it's going to land?
I'm gonna be boring, and I do think it's VJ, and they just stay there. But it seems almost too obvious. Like, it's been too obvious that the
Yeah,
Sixers like VJ.
it feels too obvious. It feels like not Maury to be this upfront and this like consistent about it. Um, I would say from the moment we got the third pick, I thought it would be a mystery up until right now. Um, and it kind of hasn't been. We kind of have it narrowed down, obviously, to the group. But what would you do if you were in Maury's shoes? Would it still be VJ, or would you go somewhere else? If you maybe
The
had a little
more I've
more
thought
luck.
about it, the more I think I'd lean there. And I think Ace Bailey's made this really tough because my gut reaction when I just like look at that group of prospects from 3 to 6 or whatever, I like them all the same. So if you could trade down, then you'd be adding something and still getting a guy you like.
Yeah,
Um, but I think Ace Bailey's made that almost impossible.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Unless the only thing I can think of is outside of this, his representation just not being what it could have been. Um, is if Maury just and I sent this in the Slack. I think this wild directive Maury could have given them to act like they hate the Sixers, so that stock drops a little bit. Teams jump up, might want to jump up for VJ. They can get Bailey at 4, 5, 6, get an extra asset moving forward, and almost win the draft that way. I don't think that's going to happen though. Now that we've
No, I
given up
think,
the
but
pick.
like this has been brought up, but like if there's one GM who would just take him anyway, be like, I
Yeah,
don't care if you're gonna work out for us. It is Daryl.
exactly, exactly.
So I'm not ruling that out. Now, before did you say that you liked Ace,
I do like Ace.
which
Yeah,
is like an unpopular opinion for Liberty Ballers.
I've realized that, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe the less plugged in I am, the more I'm seeing it a little bit just like I watched just some of his highlights again before, and I know only watching highlights is not good. I've watched everything, but like it's just like it looks that it passes the eye test a little bit more than BJ does.
Mm.
And you know, obviously everything that has come out in the past month with his draft process should be taken into account 100%. But partner with the fact of what you just said of Maury being the one to completely ignore it all and still take him if he thinks it is the best pick. Um, I like I said before, I think it's a 50-50. I honestly do. I wouldn't be surprised either way. If they go Trey Johnson or Khan here, I'm gonna honestly be a little bit upset. I think it would be an overthought, an overthinking type thing because of all the draft process. But I could be wrong there too.
All right, so I kind of feel similarly, but this is a question I have because like the saying that's become like when you're picking this high in the draft, like you can't pick for fit. Like you just got to take who do you think is the best prospect, and I completely agree with that. The Sixers are a weird team to be
Yeah.
drafting at the front of the draft because they do. I'm taking Joel and Paul George out of this. I'm not even. They
Okay.
do still have like an all star and then another blue chip talent already. So should they actually? And that's where I like lean towards Ace more. You know.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think by being in such a precarious position, uh, we'll see what happens. But let's see where the Spurs go here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's chalk so far, obviously, but no surprises
It,
unless they do a post pick trade. But
but there was a lot of reporting that the Sixers wanted Harper and were trying to get the Spurs to trade. But there was just as much reporting that the Spurs were not interested and like they didn't talk to any other prospect. Like Harper was the only guy they talked to. He was their guy. So
yeah,
I
no,
don't doubt that Daryl gave this one a good try, but
absolutely. The Spurs probably were like, let's hear your final offer probably within the last 10, 15 minutes. And we're like, no, it's not going to do it. It probably involved Paul George in some way, maybe McCain or maybe Maxey. And I don't think Morey would want to do that, you know, in June. But
totally.
we'll see. We'll see what happens here now. Now the draft really starts. And now we
Yeah,
get,
moment of truth time.
yeah. So what have you heard in terms of where they're leaning? I mean, okay, well, we know that they're leaning VJ, but um, I'd say it's a 50-50. Where do you think the percentages are with these guys?
I think it's a I don't want to rule out the I think Ace is less likely than you. But I'm not gonna rule it out. I'm splitting between BJ and Trey. That's the thing. It seems like there was a little late noise in like yesterday that Trey could be the pick here, and but like all that stuff you have to take with the tiniest grain of salt the
Yeah,
day before the draft.
yeah. That almost feels like Maury heard someone really like Trey Johnson and was like, "Oh, we might take him. You're gonna have to trade up to get him." So uh, that's almost like if that's what it was, that's almost pretty funny. But um, well, the last third overall pick the Sixers had, I mean, we traded it to get Fultz, I think, but the one
Yeah,
before that was Joel Embiid. So, or was it Okafor?
you're forgetting
Okafor.
one. There's one in the middle.
Is it Okafor?
It's vegan jaw.
There it is. So, you know, it's just a great track record of having the third overall pick.
Well,
So,
see, I literally wrote that for an article for us, and I thought it was perfectly mixed because they turned the third pick in like 1990 into Hersey Hawkins, who made an All Star game, was really good for a horrible Sixers team. Then they took Joel, and then they took Okafor, and then they traded Tatum. So it's 50-50.
exactly, exactly. Oh, I mean, there's a world where we just pick Markelle Fultz with the third pick, or do you think there's a world the Celtics ever like don't make that trade with a responsible front office.
I think Fultz was viewed so highly. A team with a bit. Like
Yeah, that's
everyone
true.
loved
If they
Fultz.
marketed that pick.
Yeah, and like if not the Sixers, someone would. And like, and so where like Hinkie did them in because the Sixers had like some of the most attractive stuff to give that year.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
had like I think they gave like the better of a Lakers or Kings pick along with it plus three. Like so yeah, like the Celtics probably wouldn't have done as well, but
Yeah. Well, they're definitely taking the longest on the clock so far.
yeah, they are.
I
They're really
think first team probably to breach 2.5 minutes. Obviously, it went how the board everyone thought the board would fall. But yeah, now the tough decision. It is the time, and it doesn't look like they have a decision yet either.
no, but like again, I think they know who, but the opposite of the Spurs situation, they're going to be taking as many phone calls as possible over this next minute or so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like that's kind of a stupid question of how you're gonna. What are you gonna expect from Joel Embiid? Like play 50 games.
Yeah,
That would be a great start.
that's
Um,
like literally like especially with him being so murky with his updates and stuff. Like you are literally you can't know until you see him play. It's not
yeah,
worth.
absolutely, absolutely. Kung says, I think the pick is ace, but would not be surprised with a post pick trade at all. That could very well be in play. Post pick trade. Uh,
If the pick is ace, like I think that makes the trade most likely.
yeah. I'm not looking at any notifications, by the way. I'm gonna let
No, yeah, it's
yeah,
everything's shut off.
yeah.
It doesn't seem like Shams has been like tipping picks like Woj
Which
though.
I appreciate. That's
Oh my
10
gosh,
points
yeah.
to Shams. Like,
It was funny the one year when Woj like broke out the thesaurus,
yes,
but
yes,
that was only gonna be funny one year. It's like we got it.
absolutely, absolutely. That year was the best, but it kind of got sick of it once he like stopped
they're
getting creative.
they're really taking this clock down.
Dude, I'm very surprised. There it
Oh,
is.
oh, there it is.
Is it ooh? Is it VJ?
Long shot on VJ.
Long shot on VJ. That would have been sick if Bailey was sitting right behind him. Then they, you know,
I would guess for that reason they space those guys out.
yeah, yeah. I think they probably. There it is.
There he is.
Oh, the Dwayne Wade comp is so tempting.
Yeah,
So
that
tempting.
that I Oladipo seems a lot obviously
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if Dwayne Wade versus Victor Oladipo, but Oladipo seems a lot more grounded.
I'm
Another
very.
one,
I'm honestly surprised they're not going to commercial here. Um, because they usually do before the Sixers, and it would kind of be smart to right now. But what were you gonna say?
I just said another comp I like for him is like a slightly worse shooting Derek White.
Yeah.
Again, Oladipo might be more realistic. Oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah. The upside on Bailey is so crazy though. Okay, it
There
was
it is.
VJ. VJ all along.
Have you seen the movie Draft Day?
I did. Yeah,
Yeah, so we think Daryl wrote on a little sticky note, VJ, no matter what.
yeah.
It's at least how this process was reported to us.
Okay. You know what? I like it. But obviously, the probably the best resume suffer is playing for the Bahamian national team, and playing as well as he did. Um, you know, that would almost suggest that it's a better uh kind of like system behind him with, I would say, like with Baylor and then the national team, then even like Dylan Harper with just Rutgers.
Right.
Um, so gotta like the fact that you know, Daryl saw that. Obviously, the Sixers were looking at the Olympics very heavily and putting stock in it, signing Gershon Yabusele last year. Um, but they decided to back off from Ace Bailey, not deal with it unless there's a trade coming. We knew Charlotte really, really enjoyed
Charlotte really liked VJ too. Yeah.
VJ Edgecombe. So if Charlotte does pick Ace Bailey here, then it could spin up something. But I really doubt that the Sixers.
Wouldn't the Sixers make Charlotte do that while the Sixers were on the clock? Like, no, come get him from us. I mean, I guess that's still the case, but
Yeah, I hope Daryl would try to avoid like another Mikal Bridges disaster and fiasco, but and avoid the optics of it all, like without putting the hat on and then
well,
it being a different team.
yeah, but at least VJ's mom doesn't work for the team, and his cousin isn't on
Absolutely.
97.5 right now, being like, "Oh, this is great." So
Yeah,
can't get that
absolutely.
bad.
Absolutely. Doesn't have deep ties to the
Exactly.
specifically to the Philadelphia 76ers organization. Um, that was such a crazy year. 2018 is like, if there's going to be a movie about the Sixers, it should just be called like 2018. I think
Yes,
because
they didn't have a GM. Brett was making that pick.
that's what I'm saying. And
Yeah. Oh my god.
we're still dealing with the effects of all the decisions made that one offseason when we didn't have a GM. The whole uh this pick thing with the lottery before we knew what it would be. That was because of the Al Horford trade back in
Yeah,
2022, which was because we signed him during the 2018 offseason.
which was a reaction to losing Jimmy, which was a
Exactly.
reaction to not getting McHale, and yeah, Jesus.
Absolutely.
So I thought someone said in our I saw one Slack message that said trade and then Shams, and there's nothing. We got duped so far.
Yes. Let's go. VJ Edgecombe it is. I'm good with the pick, but I think it makes the rest of the offseason more tricky. Yes, I think, they're going to have to make a decision on Grimes. We'll see kind of how the rest of the board plays out because I'm curious where the Nets will go if they get Trey Johnson. I doubt they would want Grimes, but we'll see.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go for it. Go for it.
So I think Sixers Adams, who pointed this out on Twitter
Mm,
about Quentin Grimes. So the Nets got that first round in that Porzingis trade yesterday. That gives them 5 first rounders. That's going to eat into their cap space. Which again, like the Nets are about the only team with cap space, so we're looking at like teams that could throw a ton of money at Quentin Grimes.
yeah,
And it seems like the Sixers will match whatever, but obviously, like a team could just screw with them by giving him a big deal.
absolutely. I'm gonna try something a little fancy here. I'm gonna rewind and try to see. Oh, never mind. It's not available. Just because we'll hear what he's saying a little bit later, but
Mm.
and I'll replay it. But he seems very
Oh,
happy, not crying like Jared McCain was last year.
no, it's save that for his mom. Look up here. I have it up on my TV too, but I also wasn't paying attention. Yeah, it's also over on my TV now. Oh
So,
no, my TV's ahead of you.
oh yeah, playback is usually a little bit behind. So yeah, now you can jump ahead if you want. You can almost report to us what the next picks will be. But the the report came out the other day in the mock draft that he had a nervous shooting workout. They obviously didn't put that much stock into that. Still go with him at number 3. He apparently crushed the rest of it. So, do you have any thoughts about the shooting? Any worries about the workout, or pushing it off to the side?
So like again, I'm not. I should have like said this when I came on. Not obviously the biggest draft guy, uh, but like the people who pay attention to the draft more than me seem to put like very little stock into workouts.
Yeah,
Um, I'm not gonna. It gives me just the worst possible Fultz flashbacks. How could it not?
absolutely.
Like it's just the way it's worded, and like the way that detail even came out. If they like him so much, I don't. It's just like it's just unnerving. I think it'll be fine, but
Yeah, no, you especially first hearing it, you're like, all right, never mind, we're not picking him. But I think everyone kind of grew up a little bit and was like, the tape is still there. It's not like his mechanics are completely different. That's what I was hearing was uh, it just wasn't a good day, and they don't put stock necessarily into, like you said, the individual workout. More so on that day, they're looking at the maturity, the type of person they are, and how putting way more stock into that. And obviously, the body of work is going to be the most important thing. Um, so VJ, another guard. We're going to see him paired with Maxi. Maxi went to dinner with him when he was here for the workout. So it hopefully the connection is already good. But the potential moving forward of having these three guards, at least maybe four, do you think this is good enough to kind of go on a run like we saw the Pacers and Thunder go on, or do you think one of them will have to be moved to get another piece somewhere else?
I think by the time that like I don't think that answer is something that will like that's the answer for like a year show down the road. Um, it's weird because like if you're playing three guard lineups and two are not, if like and two of them are not Maxi McCain, it's actually like kind of big for three guard like just between VJ and Grimes.
Yeah.
So it could work. So when the Pacers beat Cleveland, I just like it was interesting. A lot of people pointed out like the way Cleveland's built. Like they had the bigs, and then they had those tiny little guards, and just their wings struggled so much in that series.
Hmm.
And like it was something they tried. Like they got DeAndre Hunter, and it just didn't work out. So I think if they're gonna build a team like that, you need your wings to be reliable when those guards are going to be picked on.
Yeah, and you have Justin Edwards. Hopefully, Paul George can you know remain a little bit. Charlotte goes with Khan here. Khan, there was a lot of talk between him, Trey Johnson, and even VJ at three. If you were one of those people that were out on Bailey, um, so Khan going ahead of Ace is interesting, but now it's starting to feel a little bit more like what we've been hearing the past couple weeks, as opposed to what we heard beforehand. Um, Khan's very solid. I didn't love the fit with Philadelphia when I was talking to Harrison about it. We both. I think he was higher on Khan than I was, but um, I just didn't love the fit. It felt very, very similar to McCain. You'd be asking to take minutes from Justin Edwards, um, if that. I don't know. He is a great shooter, but I do think VJ can get to the shooting ability that we saw from Khan pretty quickly, if not in like 2 or 3 years. So Kung says they can match anything to keep Grimes since he's restricted, but I don't see how we can keep Yabu. So right now it looks like we go into the season with a very thin front court. Yeah, and I would be very surprised if they don't go front court at 35 or wherever this next pick will be. But
Mm-hmm. I and like I, I think it would be good if they could keep Yabu. It's going to be almost impossible.
yeah,
Um, Especially since I don't imagine they'll like be willing to sprint into these aprons,
yeah,
not
no, I
looking
don't
super
think so.
competitive. And but like I think Yabu, it would be good to bring Yabu back, but like he couldn't protect the rim. Now, I with like a not broken roster, hopefully, like he would be playing four more if he came back next year, and you're not relying him for that. But either way, the front court is thin, and it'll be interesting to see how they address that.
So how confident are you in Joel and Paul George?
I'm more confident, but obviously he has a lower ceiling to hit. More confident in a Paul George bounce back because like I thought there were stretches where he looked normal and just like it never stopped from him. Like it seemed like the knee thing never got right, and then apparently his groin thing was a torn abductor.
Yeah.
So it's like if he goes through half of that next year, I think he still looks better. Joel, I'm scared about.
Yeah. It, after watching this playoffs, it's hard to imagine Joel making it through a couple 7-round series, let alone, you know, a full playoff run. But
And
wow, all the Knipples look very similar. That is crazy. Well, at least the one in the green. Wow.
moment of silence for the state of Utah. They're missing out on this.
Yeah, yeah. Utah is gonna. You think they're gonna? So Fears has been like, if he's gonna go in the top 10, it's gonna go Utah. Utah needs guards.
Everything.
Trey Johnson's right there. I don't understand why they would overlook him. But they could go anywhere really. They could go Ace if they wanted to. It would make sense. Um, but I do think Ace is hoping that either Washington, New Orleans, or Brooklyn is going to be it. But this is another one that's going to be a little bit curious. And also when we start getting into the front court picks with like Malawach, Queen, Carter Bryant. When is Carter Bryant going to go? So some more stuff. I never believe those early reports right before the draft that there's going to be tons of trades. There's going to be so many trades. It's like every time I hear that, I'm like, there's probably not going to be that many trades.
Yeah, like, and especially like the Celtics might trade Hauser, but like the Celtics made their big moves
Yeah,
already. So once those were done, I was like, oh, it's like we might actually like be done with huge moves and trades and stuff.
yeah, yeah. And I kind of feel like that report is always like, and this is always me just speculating. Like I don't know anything, but like, oh, a reporter gets a scoop that the GMs are like, they're close. Everyone's very close to making deals. Everyone's very close. Like, then you can twist that and be like, oh, there's probably going to be a lot of trades because everyone's very close. When it's like, not necessarily. Everyone can
It's
just
like
be hesitant.
it's like everyone's talking to everyone,
Yeah.
you know. So of course there's talking happening, but yeah, who's gonna be the first team that doesn't go chalk? I guess.
Mm-hmm. And are we going to get an Ace Bailey slide, or are we going to get another Shooter Sanders slide? That's
I don't think he's like.
he's not going that far.
No, I think the Wizards seem locked into him. I don't know if you saw who she worked for, Kristen Peak. She covers the draft, and I forget who she's with. She said that Ace did work out for Washington, so he did work out for a team.
Wow, good for him. Where did the Sixers just do their pre-training camp? Was it the Bahamas or was it somewhere else?
Yeah, that was this past year. It was the Bahamas.
Hey, I
Yeah,
wonder if they got like any sort of intel after the. I mean,
maybe, but like,
they probably had no interest.
yeah, they really didn't think they'd
Yeah.
be at this high in the draft. Oh, sorry. All right, I saw the pick. There it is.
Oh, there they go, Ace Bailey
Ace Bailey.
to Utah.
All right, screw you, Washington. I guess.
Yeah, Washington gets gypped. Oh, Ace is gonna have so much fun in Utah, dude.
Oh
He's
my
gonna
gosh.
love it. Well, I mean, hey, if there's anywhere you want to go to be like get as many shots as possible, it's
Oh,
pretty
oh
much
yeah. Like
like it's pretty much.
Oh my gosh. just thinking about the assist rate numbers on lineups with Colin Sexton and Ace Bailey on the floor.
Oh, that's such a Danny Ainge pick.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
It's similar how Daryl will just be like, "Screw it, I'm just gonna take you." Ainge is kind of like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that oh my god. I think the Ball guys called this pretty spot on. They pretty much called Danny Ainge would be the one to bite the bullet because it's what he does. But uh if it works, it's going to be so frustrating for these four teams or the three teams that pass on them or two teams that pass on them. But
I mean, it would. He could be better than Harper. I don't think so.
no,
But
yeah, I don't think he's going to be better than Harper. But yeah, it's like wait 3 years and if he gets humbled and maybe has a bad month, like there's nothing to do in Utah. So like I don't know, like I'm sure he better be honed in on his craft.
nothing to do but get out and try winging shots up.
Absolutely, absolutely. You just gotta try to get your 30 shots a game. There's like, dude, he'll take shots from anyone on that team. Yeah, they're not passing the ball at all, but whoever gets the rebound is going to get the shot. But
It's not. I mean, like that is a concern. The lack of passing. The bigger red flag for me was like just the rim frequency stuff and how much trouble he had getting by guys. I didn't
yeah,
realize that until I started watching some of his highlights.
yeah,
Just because like his physical profile, you would think he'd be better at that.
yeah,
And I guess like he's still 18, right? Like he's still young, even for
absolutely. He's very young.
so. I think there could still be a lot of physical growing to do, but like that is what really scared me.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, I'm little concerned after that. This is a lot of stuff is pointing towards.
So wait, like some of the mocks I wrote up earlier this week did have Ace at 5. So are we counting that as a team not going chalk?
I don't even think there was chalk for this, like these picks.
No, yeah, that's a good point.
Like honestly, Utah, they were saying Jeremiah Fears the whole time. That is such a smokescreen that they wanted to pick Ace Bailey.
I wonder if
But
that
did he want to
blindsided
stay in?
Washington.
Did he want to stay in the Eastern Conference? Did he say something about that? Did you hear?
I only saw what he said today that he had no preference of destination. Like that might have come out earlier that he wanted to, which I'd buy.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't. Dude, that's crazy. All the replies and stuff on Twitter are very, very funny. You go from a market that could have been Philadelphia to a market of Salt Lake City, which you know what? I've never been to Salt Lake City. I've never been to Utah. I'm sure it's all right and it's beautiful. I've seen pictures, but I can't imagine to live there and not be like a snowboard like skier or hiker. Can't be a great time. Can't imagine it being that much fun. Can't imagine the marketing revenue being there. But for the Utah Jazz sake, I love it. I actually love this pick. Like it makes
Yeah, I
it
think
makes so much sense. But for Ace Bailey, it's like, don't test the waters.
it is, but like he's gonna get the shots he wants. I think that might be what he cared about most. And then from Utah's perspective, like they have been. This was the first year that they've really bottomed out, but they've been like in this area in the draft these last few years, and they've gone nowhere. because they haven't
Mm,
been getting potential star talent to move anywhere. And even if I probably don't think Ace is that guy. Like, I think I like taking the swing more than yeah, just grabbing it. Actually, no, I take that back because I do believe in Trey Johnson's star upside. So I would
yeah.
have gone Trey Johnson.
I wonder where the Wizards are going to go here. Are they going to go with?
Did I go Trey?
They
I
could
just
go
traded
Trey.
Poole.
It's probably going to be Trey or nah, it'll probably be Trey. Who else is left? Malwatch. Yeah, I honestly, if anyone's going to fall, it's going to be Jeremiah Fears. I think the last week, the small guard not being able to shoot extremely well doesn't really sound great. I would imagine for a lottery pick any longer, unless you're sure. And I don't think anyone. If you were sure about Jeremiah Fears, he would be top 5 everywhere. But
Do you think, especially after last year when Reed Shepard went 3-2,
yeah, yeah,
teams, yeah,
100%, 100%.
which is ironic. The best player in that class is Jeremy McCain, but
It's insane. That draft class is insane. This one is a little bit weird too. I mean, everyone thought this draft class was going to be way better, but I think it's just like a little bit better. At least there's one star. We went from like really no star, guaranteed stars to one. Um, people are already saying next year you have the Boozers and the Bonsa, but
so it's not pronounced Demonasta.
no. You know what? I'm not sure if that's right, but it's like the Bon. It's either the Bansa or the Bonsa. I'm not sure.
Okay, so how I heard it pronounced the first time is definitely wrong.
Yeah, no, it's Dibanasa. All right, is it going to be Trey? Okay, so now I would say it's been pretty much chalk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And would Malak go in 7 stay that way?
yeah, or if they go Jeremiah Fears here because they just traded McCollum, right?
Yes. But they
Who did
brought
they?
back Jordan Poole in that.
Oh yeah. So they're not going to go with Fears. Um, yeah, so I don't know if Malawatch goes. I don't love Malawatch with the Pelicans, but I also don't love the Pelicans with the Pelicans. So
No, and that's like you'd hit on Yves Misi last year.
mhm. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So that again might mean they don't go big again, but
Yeah, they could go Carter Bryant right here. Centel
that's
already.
interesting.
Centel have already hitting.
Are
Um,
they?
Said breaking Ace Bailey has informed his agent of his decision to retire from the NBA.
See, like Centel's hit rate, I'd say is probably about 1%, if that. Like I
Oh, you're
don't.
you're a hater of Centel.
I am. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
just
I
on
appreciate
Twitter
it
too
from a
much.
journalistic perspective.
Well, no, it's like because a lot of their stuff, I don't even think they're trying to like be serious and really get people. I'm
Yeah.
still just like, oh, it's not that funny.
Yeah, most of their stuff isn't like actually believable, but
No, I'm not sure if I'm a hater. I'm just on Twitter too much. Hard to say.
Mavericks fans were still chanting "Fire Nico" apparently at the draft party.
I mean, as they should, honestly.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Sixers legend Mo Bamba.
Mo Bamba. LaMarcus Aldridge. He never got a ring, right? LaMarcus. No, yeah, because he went to the
No,
Spurs late, right?
I think he would have. He was on the Brooklyn team when Durant's foot was on the line, right?
Yes, yeah.
I'm gonna double check that. That was yeah,
It would have
his
been like one of
post.
his last years.
Yeah, like he didn't have a long post Spurs.
Yeah, so Trey Johnson definitely like the best shooter outside of or no, not outside of anyone, probably the best shooter in the draft, but not great really at much else. But it can be potent if you use it correctly. But
There,
especially, yeah,
I just remember a similar stuff about McCain last year, where like he's just too good of a shooter to not have a place in this league.
yeah,
Um, if they didn't have one, or if they didn't have one of McCain or Maxey, would you have been higher on Trey for the Sixers?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, because the star potential's there. Because at that point you're almost looking for a maxi type, and I think he's the closest thing to it. Um, or I would have been a little bit more willing to spend a trade up for Dylan Harper, like almost anything but McCain.
Hmm.
But I do like the fit with VJ because he's a little bit taller. So I think it could be good, but no, I wouldn't. Or I yes, I would have like Trey at 3 there. Yeah, I think I would have. Wouldn't have been thrilled if like VJ and was like the same exact prospect, but
Hmm.
I am curious how the Pelicans go here because it's really just Malawach left in that top like tier, and like you said, they picked Misi, but they could double up. I mean, it's not like they're making promises about minutes. So
Like I can't like CMB doesn't make any sense there, right?
no, no, no,
I'm
no.
just
They
looking
don't
at
need
Billis' best available.
not CMB. He doesn't have the shooting, so it'd be kind of just another rim pressure alongside Zion. I don't know if you can really get away with that, but
That would be a pretty good indicator that Zion's not in
yeah,
their
yeah.
long term plans.
But if CMB gets some sort of touch and feel and perimeter game, it could be worth it. Dude, he looks pissed.
Just,
Yeah.
it's, I don't know if like you can see some Paul just said the same thing in our Slack.
Yeah,
So I was like keyed up to those.
that's hilarious.
It appeared that the Sixers media draft TV room was working this year. I don't know if you remember the tweet from last year. It completely, it was just YouTube TV being rough. People obviously took that as a indictment on the Sixers.
Were you in there? Or
Yeah, yeah.
wait, so how many is it's just one TV in the media room and then
They, yeah, they got like conference rooms that they pull us into for that stuff, basically, and then Daryl will talk afterwards.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
All right, let's see where they go. They go Fears.
Huh. Yeah, is Fear's best dressed tonight?
It's up there for sure.
Yeah.
From Oklahoma. Wow. Yeah, I would expect Malawatch to go to Brooklyn. If not, he's not getting past Toronto. That's for sure.
No. There are a few guys that I think will be on the board that I feel like are very Toronto picks. Um, yeah, I
Carter Bryant. If Toronto picks Carter Bryant, that would be ridiculous.
um the Nets have been looking to move off of Nick Claxton for a little bit, I feel like. So I feel like taking Malawak gives them that excuse of like to speed up that process.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, you know, I like Nick Claxton, but I don't love him. I feel like maybe it's biased because we kind of had Embiid just torching him
No,
for
I think
years over years, but
like Sixers fans or people who watch every Sixers game have a biased view of like pretty much most bigs in the league
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
because
It's hard.
Embiid torched them. Like Miles Turner, was always my biggest example
Yeah, yep.
because he would always put Miles Turner in the rim, and but I was like, no, Miles Turner is like a top 5 or 6 center in the league. I promise.
I mean, it's funny that he's still on the team too, but I almost think of like Andre Drummond, like Embiid pretty much ended his career in a way of value and kind of realizing how he can be taken advantage defensively. It wasn't just Embiid, but um,
The league changed a lot, like
yeah,
right around that.
100%. But in my head, though, it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. The Suns are gonna get that number 10 pick.
That's
So,
Jace Richardson. It's locked in already.
oh, you think? Oh my God.
I know nothing about him. I just know he went to Michigan State, and that's
Yeah,
finished being.
yeah. But I mean, it's interesting. Billis had CMB over Malawatch. I don't know about that because Malawatch, I feel like he's just unpolished, but he can get to a point where like I'm trying to think of a comp, but
I
like
feel like
a Chet without a 3-point shot. Like I feel like he
I
can
was gonna say
create
like
some defensive presence like that.
I feel like a meaning outcome for him might be like Clint Capella,
Yeah, yeah,
like just
easily.
rim run on both ends. And
Yeah.
I liked Malawak, and again, this is me really doing a lot of my draft prep, like in the tournament. The Final Four game really scared me when whether he had 1 rebound or no rebounds.
Oof. It-
Like that scared me a lot.
That's good.
And especially as me being like skeptical about Joel's long term outlook, I'm like, you trade down, you get like a starting center for the future. You can catch lobs from Maxi and your other guys. Like, I wasn't against that idea.
Yeah. I, I wouldn't have loved it because I think it's still a year early. I do think like if magic happens, you still got to. Joel is still good enough that you got to give him a year to let magic
Hundred
happen and
percent.
get healed. But so like I'm kind of in Maury's camp with that mindset of like he's good enough. Like if we can put it together, it'll be almost easy. But um, if it's not, then you're looking at like I would have liked almost getting a first round pick next year somehow.
Yeah.
And still picking in the lottery this year. I'm sure Maury looked at that, but if you think VJ is like going to be this good, if he ends up being like having a rookie year like Jared McCain did, where not in the appearance of it, but just in terms of the quality of it, um,
Impact.
Yeah, then I think you can almost get away with it. But if you're in a position where we're sweating this pick next year, that's top four protected, then I'm all in on best player available
Yeah,
center.
like this is clearly
Yeah,
where you are.
yeah. Wow. Then that's crazy. I'm looking at the Slack what Harrison just sent in.
Ooh, we have some slop. Oh, okay. We have the eighth pick.
Yeah, with the eighth pick may have been leaked. We may just be late, but if
Nah, my cable feed still doesn't have the pick. Well, the pick is in.
yeah, so if they do go that way, that would be very surprising. That would be the first kind of uh surprise of the day. That would be a pick I'd look see if it gets traded somewhere um for something, but there's been no trades yet, like we said. It's been fairly quiet, but
I mean, I guess they could with their roster, but Brooklyn has to trade at least one of these, right? At the very least, do they want 5 new first round pick salaries to pay?
it might.
I mean,
I'm
I guess
not
that's not
about
much
it.
more than like a free agent, but
Yeah, but give it 4 years, then you got to re-sign all of them, and so no, I don't think so. But
like
um,
the Nets have a lot of picks, and I don't know if they could reach this point, but like the Thunder literally do not have, they cannot roster the amount of future draft picks they have.
that's crazy. That's crazy. Yegor Demon. Oh,
If they're
he's a
not,
Russian? Why? What? He's allowed to play? I'm joking, but it's
if
crazy.
if they're not trading this pick, this kind of feels like a Joe side pick, like a pick from ownership.
Hmm.
I don't know. This just seems like he likes to take a swing on the more international guys, and but again, they're like the Jazz, they're like the Wizards. Like there's no, I don't know, foundation or anything he's going into that like should be like nailed down the part of the future moving forward. So
Wow, Demon. This has got to be a part of a trade. I would have to imagine it's part of a trade. If it isn't, this is a reach because when's their next pick?
19.
They could. There's a chance they could have moved up with that pick and gotten him at like 14.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't think he was supposed to go till the teens. Oh
Yeah,
boy, what a murderer's row. Oh wait, you'll see the graphic in a second. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Oh wow,
that's who you want to.
wow. Second overall. That's awesome. Rafael Araujo. I've never heard of him.
No, and I looked through just about every draft of the 2000s. I mean, I skimmed some of them the last month or so.
What the heck? That's crazy.
Have we gotten one of those since Porzingis, where like a fan in the arena is visibly pissed at the pick?
No, I really don't think so. I don't think
And
so.
this is like literally since the Sixers took Fultz. Like I have not watched the draft as much since that year. And then I was paying attention to it the McHale year, but I had a rec flag football league game, so I missed this. I checked my phone and everyone was like, they traded McHale. I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, that was crazy. But I like watching the drafts just because I like the possible, moves, and it kind of is like you get all the possibilities of what it can be. It feels like almost like you're living in a world where there's like all these possibilities are true at once, but they're not. And then it's just like this stupid event. Like and all of this is culminating to this like one event that's just like a guy reading names into a television prop. Like it all feels very like draconian, like not real in a way.
Yeah. Especially like because last year the Sixers had a draft pick, but they were in the playoffs.
Yeah,
So like we were all still focused on like playoffs, end of season, free agency. Like, are they signing Paul George? Like now, like we were back in the lottery. We had like 2 whole months of nothing, but just like
yeah,
speculating the draft. And when you have that much time of not much happening outside of the combine.
yeah, yeah. And the other, I mean, even if the Sixers aren't in the draft, which is like necessarily a good thing because they're probably deep in the playoffs, or they traded it for some stupid reason. Um, I do like it just because, like, thinking of the 20 or whatever year it was where it was Ayton, um,
2018.
yeah, 2019, was it Jaren Jackson Jr. too, and then
It went
Doncic 3? No, Junior
uh,
was 4.
yeah, Bagley, Marvin Bagley the
Oh,
third.
yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, so getting Marvin Bagley, it's like those top 2 picks now 10 years from now, you're looking at it, or like 6 years ago, or whoa, 6 years out from the draft, you're looking at it and it's like, wow, what a miss. They should have been Luka, should have been probably Jaren Jackson Jr. or Trae Young, whoever, 1, 2, 3. And I think Shea is also in that draft too. So
He was. Yeah, no, I was going to say that's the difference between a star hitting instantly and like that slow
exactly.
development that Shea had because like
It's
obviously
almost
after the draft
impossible.
yeah, it was like how do you pass on Luca? How did 3 teams pass on Luca? And they still those 3 teams still should be made fun of that for. And then in more recent years, it's like, oh well, 10 teams passed on Shea.
That's the thing, is that I feel like that you can't really do anything about that. The Ayton the Bagley pick, or even like the Warriors with taking Wiseman, like that was not a great pick.
That
And
was like obviously a bad pick.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's interesting how, for me, the reason I like to watch is because these people are getting paid a lot of money to do this, when in reality and in practice, it's like inexact science, and it can sometimes just come down to randomness. It can come down to fit of how good these team players are. Like if Ayton went to a team that was later in the draft, like where he could have not had as much pressure as quickly, like what does that change? Maybe he's a little bit better. Maybe he grows into the person or player we thought it could be, of like another Embiid. Never happened. He was like stubborn because he thought he was better or whatever it was. He won a minute.
He just didn't want to. He just was. He's just happy shooting his mid ranges. You know, like
Yeah,
Aiden.
yeah,
If he just stepped out a little bit more, he'd be like, he'd make a lot more sense as an offensive player. But just the way he plays, you just kind of have to work around it a little bit more. And it's like the 1 year he had his most success was the year Chris Paul could bully him.
yeah, yeah. So
All right, Toronto. Is this Malawak?
dude, if the Suns get Malawatch after pulling off this trade, I'll be shocked. They get CMB.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
We said that was a very Masai pick.
Yeah.
So Malawak's fallen a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good for the Suns, I think.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you're not picking Carter Bryant here, like
Yeah.
that's kind of the only thing.
They are also just like so screwed that just like at whatever step forward you take is I think you'll take it.
Okay, so the Sixers, it looks like they sent um the Stixers, like the drum crew, the Stixers,
Yeah, the
to a
Sixers,
bar.
Sixers.
Yeah, to a bar to celebrate the pick, like they just won a championship, and they posted the video as if it was like random people, and I love that.
It's let me see what because they also sent us that they were hosting like that party for fans too.
I don't mind that. I honestly, it's a little bit shameless, but whatever. Like we're playing the game.
So like I this is a different setup. Like I would go to like the Eagles would host like free draft parties at the link. They might still do this. I just haven't done this since like the Chip Kelly days. And then like they would have like 40-yard dashes and like cones to throw through and stuff on the field. So like you could go obviously like I was in high school, so like you go do all that kind of stuff and then you just watch the draft either in like the club level or in the stands on the big screen. It was fun.
Yeah, I've never been to a draft party, but they all look pretty fun, especially like um the ones in the stadium, like the ones that are even at the ones that are like I don't know if I would like the ones that are just like at a bar and you're just like whatever. Like even the ones that the Rights to Ricky Sanchez did where it's like they have a live pod after. Like at least
Right.
give me something where it's like I'm not just watching the draft.
Watching the draft. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say your mileage on just watching a guy list names is
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why. In the NFL it's a little bit different. I feel like they do a better job of also I think it's a little bit simpler for fans to understand the NFL draft. It's a little bit deeper, it's longer. It's more of an event, but
which I think that generally means there are more trades too.
yeah,
Like it
so
feels like there like on average there's more trades in the
yeah, and it's way easier probably to trade the picks in NFL than it is in the NBA.
oh
Um,
yeah 100%.
so I kind of get, I don't know, I get the draft parties for the NFL maybe a little bit more, but if you're just doing a draft party and not doing anything else, and it's just like a bunch of people at a place watching the pick, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. But then again, I'm doing the same exact thing just digitally. So it is what it is. But yeah, I'm
And it's
curious if
I think the parties works a little bit better when there's like a Cooper Flag or like a Wembanyama, like a slam dunk number one guy, and you're watching the lottery, and then you watch your
yeah,
team win. Like the
yeah,
seeing them win the number one pick that got them Ben Simmons was so exhilarating, more than like watching the draft. And then it worked out for so well for all parties involved.
yeah,
Everyone went home happy.
and the rest was history.
I'll see you at Ben Simmons retirement jersey night.
Oh man, the SB Nation's YouTube channel, Secret Base, just did a video on Simmons. I haven't watched it yet, but because I'm like scared of it. I was a very big Simmons guy. Had past tense a jersey, and I thought until obviously Embiid started reaching levels that were MVP levels. It's like okay, yeah, they obviously made the right decision, but it's like up until that playoff run where he lost everything in terms of ability to confidently do anything. I thought maybe he could pull it around.
No, I didn't. I didn't totally jump off the bandwagon
Yeah,
till the Hawks series either. I mean,
yeah,
the pessimism grew on me more, but I was a big Ben guy too.
yeah. The defense, like that, those couple
Yeah.
years where he was one of, if not the best perimeter defender in the
That
league.
year, he had a good
Yeah,
case for depoy.
yeah. It was. I'll never forget that because, like, I don't think we're going to see a player like that really ever again. Like a 6'10" kind of perimeter defender. It's that archetype is very rare. It's just the issue was the expectations of him being a number one pick. Ben Simmons was a defense only, doesn't know how to shoot besides, and only really knows how to pass. He's like a 20th pick in the draft. Like, there's a chance he's still playing. He still has the comp. Like, that's why the draft is so interesting to me. It's like, yes, the lottery, if you're a team involved, can be make or break. Oh, here we go. The Charlotte Hornets.
Who?
The Charlotte Hornets are trading center
Whoa!
Mark Williams to the Phoenix Suns for the 29th pick tonight and a 2029 first round pick. So they're not going to pick Malawach here then.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, that was my first reaction. Is all right. This is another pick that's not going to be Malawach.
So Malawach, and it's not going to be Portland because they already have Klingon and Ayton.
They have so many bigs. It's not going to be
It
Portland.
could be Chicago.
It could be Chicago. Maybe the front offices were like got scared the same way we did.
Yeah.
Why are the Suns trading 2 first-round picks? I didn't even. Oh, I forgot. I forgot they did that.
Yeah, they
trade
did
where
that. They traded like the one good one for the 5 like mid
for like 5 bad ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so if they're trading 2 of the bad ones for Mark Williams, I mean, what were the Lakers thinking? I don't get why they don't go through with that trade. They still pick Kaman, and they trade for Mark Williams. Wait, so maybe Kaman goes to Charlotte in this. Maybe Shams has it wrong.
No way. No way they finally get their own pick back in 10. And then they trade it.
No, that wasn't included in the Shams.
No. What are they doing?
2 first-round picks. Wow.
God bless the Suns, because every time we're worried, like,
Yeah,
oh,
Nick Richards.
all the excitement's happened, everything's gonna go chalked. The Suns do something.
Then dip it in here.
Wait, did the Sixers go live? They're not even waiting. It's crazy. Oh, Paul just said Daryl talking shortly. So I will keep up with that. But yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. All right. The 2029 first rounder is the least favorable of Cleveland, Utah, and Minnesota's top 5 protected pick. Size was a problem for the Suns last season. They addressed in a big way with Williams and Kaman Malawach. So Hornets get another pick in the draft later in the round.
This is a weird end of first, early second to stock up on with all those guys going back.
Exactly.
Let me look on their YouTube. They haven't tweeted anything yet. Yeah, if Daryl's talking soon, I do feel comfortable sharing this now. The media advisory the Sixers sent us said that Daryl could talk before the end of the first round, so I
don't think
was like reading into that as like they're probably not doing anything else.
Yeah, I think they're good. Honestly, like now we know Morey can keep himself contained, just take the one of the best players available, and or the best player available, and just call it a night. Not get tempted by any other BS. Like I
And
like
for
a
what we were just
clean.
talking about, the end of the first round, like this is not the year to jump back in.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think Maury knows that more than, or probably everyone knows that, but I think Maury understands that. And yeah, let's make it a clean night. Get in, get out, take advantage of our third pick. Let's not tempt the basketball gods with anything crazy. And yeah, and I think VJ will be like very much a guy and a kid that Philly will fall in love with once they see him put in the effort. He's one of those guys that's just going to be like diving on the floor like for every loose ball, and
Yeah.
obviously Philly loves that. So I am excited on that front. That could have been an issue in terms of like if you draft Ace Bailey. In hindsight, I will admit that, but it's I like it. I'm happy for kind of the I'm happy for Nick Nurse, honestly.
Yeah.
That one there he was able to come back, and two that he's going to be kind of given this opportunity to develop this guy, and we'll see where he's at the end of the year. He if it's going to be in a playoff run, that is going to be the next real big story. Is can we get these guys a playoff run? Can we get Jared and VJ a playoff run?
I
Um,
if if Maxime and Kane are healthy for most of the year and Paul George, like I think that's automatically
yeah,
like a top 6 or 8 seed in this East.
absolutely, absolutely. And it's like I'm almost looking at Embiid as like a mercenary. Like there's no rule in the NBA that you can't just hold this guy, say his knee is hurt likely until April. That's what the doctors told us. So you send him away to like Siberia. You bring him back when he's ready in April for the playoff run, and you go from there. And it literally like do the most extreme version of what the Raptors did with Kawhi. Go the full like screw the awards, screw everything else about the game limit or whatever. There's no game limit to play in the playoffs. If you have to play one in the regular season, play one game, and then we go to the playoffs. I'm at that point where it's like, there it is. If we're that confident um, about the core with VJ, and if PG stays healthy, then I am ready to do that with Embiid. Like, why even test it in? Why even have him play before the All Star break?
Yeah.
I feel like that's counterproductive. But let me try to pull that up.
We have a trade. Oh, come back. The Blazers are trading this pick at number 11 here.
Mm-hmm.
And Shams has said who they're taking. I'm not going to spoil it yet. Yo, it's Shams.
Okay, Memphis. Okay.
You think Memphis keeps blowing it up?
Memphis blows it up.
Do you think they do?
Hmm. If they do, I think they should soon. I think they should before Ja gets extended.
True, but this is probably around the lowest Jaws value's ever been. Like maybe.
Oh wait, what? What did he just say?
No, he was just explaining that the
Oh,
Suns have
other
10
trade.
because he had to wear the Rockets hat.
Got you.
No, that threw me when I saw like the Rockets pick is in. It's still at least ESPN should be able to change
Howard.
that.
Okay, so Cedric Coward goes before Carter Bryant.
Sorry, yeah, I read that Sham said it was Coward. Sorry, sorry, I already knew it was Coward.
Okay, that's a little odd, but okay. I have the Maury presser up. Let me get this switched over real quick. Bang.
We think he's on a great trajectory to take where he's come from and continue to improve through Baylor all the way through a very long and very promising NBA career. And we're excited it's here at the 76ers.
Okay, hold on.
Was there a specific, turning point that kind of pushed the pendulum in VJ's direction?
For now, I'll read some of the tweets from some of our local beats who are there. What he's saying. So it's from Austin Krell, Vaughn Pathis. And Daryl Morey says he put 0.0% into workouts. When asked if VJ Edgecombe's nervous workout impacted his decision making, yeah, that's sounds like Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl talking isn't great TV either, but yeah, I'm happy that he put 0.0% into the workouts. Like,
yes.
It's like if that comes back to bite him and he gets burned by a bad workout he should have known, then like if that's how it's going to end, that's how it's going to end. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like I'm with him. I feel a lot of the time it's just like,
I mean, the way you can't put any stock in the workouts is they say like sometimes you can't even put a ton of stock into like some of their college stats of their one and dones. Like some of the year-over-year stuff, their high school stats are a better indicator just because you need a bigger sample.
Huh. So Grizzlies send number 16.
And one of the first they got from Orlando.
Yeah. Yeah, I
don't like that.
Might as well blow it up.
I don't like already tapping into.
Yeah, they might be thinking retool. Just go Bane for Coward.
I think maybe the chat could have heard. I had someone text me that they could hear Daryl and we couldn't. That's fun.
Yeah, I don't know why. Can you hear the ESPN thing right here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to try again because it does have an option for me to share the audio.
Here for Coach Nurse ownership, the players, and if we would have left without like a guy who could be a potential all-star for us, that was going to be really tough. And we even got some good fortune to move a little higher. So, yeah, I would say feel very fortunate in many ways.
I mean, you're not necessarily thinking floor at number 3, but he does seem to have a combination of ceiling and kind of.
Yeah.
Can you hear it or no?
No, I can't.
Bare minimum.
Agree with that completely. Yeah, that he has a nice combination of both. I will ask our fan base. I mean, look, early returns can get magnified. I do think it's hard this is a man's league, and he's strong and physical, so I think he'll adjust quicker than most draft picks. But they take a little time.
You know what? Paul gave us the rundown.
Absolutely.
What he
we're very excited about him.
God bless Paul.
This is another investment for you guys in a young guard. I guess just how do you see VJ fitting with Tyrese and Jared and Quentin?
How do you see VJ fitting with Tyrese and Jared?
So I really like, how things are shaping up. I think we'll have one of the best backcourts
I think we'll have one of the best backcourts in the league.
With Grimes and Maxey and
in
Jared
the chat.
and now VJ. So I do think, like the way the NBA is going, I think you saw some of these teams playing dynamic, up-tempo, with multiple guards that put the defense in jeopardy. And, we do have to have our main guy in the middle. I felt for the players and Coach Nurse, specifically last year, trying to put a defense on the floor with Joel out, and obviously Drummond was hurt, so we didn't. Bona stepped up late, which was exciting. But it's very hard to, if you have like a bunch of dynamic guards, it's hard to make it all work if you don't have a big in there who's making things hard on the other team.
Related to that, how is Joe doing? What's
they can hear it or not?
We haven't heard. Since
They can still hear it. We just can't.
And also the other.
Or at least I can't.
Yeah, I can. So, do you see where it says the volume in the bottom left?
Spoke to Joel.
It says
today.
stream. Is that up?
He's very engaged, attacking
Okay.
rehab,
And I still
doing
can't.
everything can to be out there.
That's odd.
He had a meeting with Dr. Glashow this week. All things.
Joel had another
to use
meeting
the
with his
term
doctor.
nominal. Things are
things
going
normal.
well and expected, and we expect that to continue. So
ready for camp.
yeah, I mean things are on track to be ready right around there. So
And a quick follow up.
He ain't saying he's going to be ready.
Why were you told Ace Bailey didn't want to work?
Oh, he's not?
Thoughts on when a
He
player doesn't want to work
said
out, period?
he
it was
can
pretty
be
okay.
ready
I mean, I
around
spoke to the
there,
agent,
around
so
the
did,
time.
so did Elton, so did Prosper, so did
That's
a lot
where
of
are
key
the waiver?
folks
I
on
feel
our
like he
staff.
was more definitive on
he didn't
that.
he didn't work out with
Let me run it
anybody,
back.
so
Let me
that
run
was
it back.
just their plan.
And,
So it was just their general plan, and I don't try to
when
judge.
he
They
went
were
on the
doing what they
rookie.
thought was best for them. We were doing what's best for us, and it had no impact on the decision.
Oh yeah,
So-
he might have.
You already have obviously Tyrese in the fold.
There's
You have
Paul.
last year you drafted Jared and Dem, who all kind of have that, kind of mature improvement mindset. Seems like VJ also fits into that mold. Is that something that is important to you? Is that something that you valued when you evaluated him?
Yeah, I think that's above and beyond what you can see on the floor. The thing we spend a lot of time on, and I will say it's very hard to forecast with 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds. We don't think we have some crystal ball, but where we can get more confidence that a player has two things, which is they understand that they're not where they need to be. They understand they're not yet, pick your all-star guard
Hawks
in the league.
are
And then they have the
doing
work ethic
something
to
too,
close that
Jesus.
gap. If a player has that's very interesting to us generally. And yes, we've been fortunate that you can get a guy with talent already playing at a high level at Baylor, and then also has just not only just a hopeful work ethic, but when you can see if you track back to the Bahamas and you track back through his pre-Baylor period all the way through. I think we're excited about that.
Very long answer. Paul's going to have to transcribe. That's awesome.
What kind of opinion did Tyrese have with VJ's work out here, and what kind of input did Nick Nurse
John
have
Clark
as
asking
far
about
as
Tyrese's
VJ and
opinion.
what he can do?
Man, Nick is. I'll get to Tyrese, but Nick's been unbelievable in this process. He's a coach who's in every meeting, sitting through our hours of meetings.
Talking about how good Nick Nurse is for
he's run teams when he came up and had to work his way to the NBA harder than most guys in terms of running teams in Iowa, running teams overseas, and so he had such a great perspective because he has not just the coach's eye, but he also has run teams, so he gets.
I am
that you wanna
definitely
care about not just what you're saying now,
gonna
but
go
what they
back
can-
and listen to his appearance on the Ricky because I felt like he was
different
more
about that process and what was the approach in
firm
terms of sorting
that
through the
Joel will be
options
ready
and-
for the
I
start.
mean, I
of the
found
season.
it very different, I would say.
Okay.
You have much more
So
visibility
we're
on
live
who
now.
might be there, which I've never
we're
had.
still watching on
Usually
here.
we're running sims. We didn't have to do that this time.
So Pelicans traded with the
I would say
Hawks
the other
for the
thing is
13th.
I
They both
really, really
13.
don't.
So
like
the
people to
Hawks
know who
gave
we're
up
picking.
16.
So
No,
it's
no,
impossible.
sorry.
At
The Hawks
3.
gave
It's
up
for
23 for
people
that?
not to get a sense. You're usually
And
down
an
to a few names, and
unprotected
people are
first in
going to have a
2026.
rough outline of. But I
Wait,
just
wait,
optimize
they
my
moved
job
up or they
trades.
moved-
I think the more
They
more
moved
under the
down.
the
The Hawks
less
did.
public it is, the better.
Oh
But
wait,
that's
I
just
read
not
this wrong.
realistic
I
at
read.
3.
I
sort of had to give that up.
the Pelicans are sending the
early,
unprotected
so that's
first.
probably the two.
Okay, that makes a
I
little
would say
more.
we had to retune.
Either way, that's
I
a
do
juicy
think
pick.
You don't pick high very often, so you want
Pelicans
take guys
2026 best. It's the best
all-star
of the
capability.
Pelicans and Bucks
And he
2026
absolutely
first
has that.
round.
I don't know what percentage
I think the
exactly,
better
but we
that
have
pick's going to be
guess,
a really
but
good pick,
it's,
and it's
definitely
unprotected.
material, and we feel good about
I
it.
take.
There
Whether the
are
Pelicans
as
do
a
it.
player and as a person, did you
And the
feel
Bucks
that
are
VJ
looking
embodied what
in
you
the
guys
mirror
look for as a front office?
right now.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so
Yeah, I'm excited for everyone to
who
meet
went
him.
12?
I'm excited
Because
for you
Derek
to meet
Queen,
him.
the Pelicans are taking
It's
Derek
a little
Queen
hard to describe. He's sort of like
with
he's a
13.
very mature,
Yeah.
you know,
Daryl
for
saying
his
he's very
age, for being under
mature.
20. He carries himself like he's already been in the league, which I don't
Carries
think is
himself
easy.
like he's already been in the league.
So that's one.
Like that.
Two, I think he saw it, like the love and
I
his
don't know if I
family
talked
there,
over it,
even
but
if you guys
apparently
are watching the telecast.
said BJ was in a
I think
similar
that, obviously, a lot of people have
area
that, but
to
I
Eric
think,
Gordon shooting
you know,
off
the
the dribble.
admiration from his brother.
You've spoken to Eric Gordon about
you know,
that's
I think,
okay.
Yeah, I'm just excited to get to know him. He has a
Correct me
real
if I'm
good
wrong, was
head
Eric Gordon on the
shoulders,
national
and
Bahamian
both on
national
the
team?
court,
as well?
basketball
Am I
IQ
tripping?
wise, but also
Ooh.
just life IQ. Yeah, for lack of a better term.
I don't know if he was.
Tyrese had involvement in his workout. Were Joel or Paul consulted with about him at all?
I answered that earlier.
question.
Yeah, if that's okay. Yeah.
Ooh, Daryl just said he answered that question earlier.
Ooh.
Yeah, he didn't respond. That wasn't Paul. It wasn't Paul. I know
I was
that.
gonna say, who was it?
Here, I'll run it back real quick.
Well, I can't hear it still.
I'll try.
I
my
don't.
best.
I'm not gonna
It was reported that Tyrese
put
had
whoever
He
that
has a
reporter
real
is on
good head on
blast.
his shoulders, and both on the court, basketball IQ wise, but also just life IQ. Yeah, for lack of a better term.
It was reported that Tyrese had involvement in his workout. Were Joel or Paul consulted with about him at all?
I answered that earlier. Yeah, if that's okay. Yeah.
Wow,
Thanks for coming, guys.
it definitely wasn't anyone. I think like it was very. They were very soft spoken. I couldn't really tell. I wasn't familiar with the voice, but I don't think it was Sixers Adam. He wasn't looking in Sixers Adam's direction.
No,
he was looking more towards our left. I hope it's not anyone that I know from or went to school with. But okay, so that's Daryl. Let's see where the draft is at. Obviously, we're gonna have all the coverage on Liberty Ballers. I'm sure Paul's gonna write all that up. You'll have some stuff later, and everyone will have stuff later. But the rest of this week. But speaking of Sixers legends, Andre Iguodala and Julius Erving.
Imagine being Derek Queen and like Shams has already tweeted that you've been drafted, and this is the point where they've halted the draft.
Yeah, that's crazy. I would be, but like you can't hate on this, but like I'd be pretty upset.
I feel like this is a ceremony it's like, okay, the draft is 2 nights now. We have more time to fill.
Why would the Pelicans do that? So the Pelicans just got Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen to pair with Zion and Jordan Poole.
And yeah,
two timelines.
I guess. I mean, we'll see if Zion's still a part of these plans. Oh wait, forgot to look at the national team because Daryl got a little chippy.
Oh, the Hawks are gonna get.
I think yes, he was.
Daryl Morey said Ace Bailey's refusal to work out for the Sixers did not play a part in the decision. That would be great, absolutely insane if he said it did play a part in the decision.
Yeah, like VJ's workout didn't, but
yeah, VJ's workout was all right, but if Ace Bailey worked out with us, oh boy. Carter Bryant is now the kind of the slide right now.
Yeah. Gosh, I feel like I haven't even completely missed the last 3 picks and nothing's even happened yet. Sixers legend Vasily Micic is headed back to Charlotte. Oh my gosh, I was joking that they should send Nick Richards back to Charlotte. They'd send Micic instead.
That's so funny. That's crazy that they have Nick Richards, Mark Williams.
They have Nick Richards and Mark Williams now reunited.
Yeah, it's so funny. Because you know for a fact, last year when they traded for Nick Richards, they definitely called for Mark Williams. Didn't want to pay the price then. The Lakers did. The whole thing with the physical, Lakers taken back. This one's probably like, oh, well, the Lakers are probably going to want to try to trade for him again, so we got to trade for him. He's like, okay, we'll just pay the price.
I feel like you asked me about this earlier. I forgot to get around to it. I feel like I've always liked Mark Williams. I feel like when the Lakers found out about the physical, they were just like, all right, like it's hard to win when you make such a change at the deadline anyway, getting Luka. Like we'll just wait till the offseason and get our center.
Yeah.
I feel like we'll find out in the next year or so if the Lakers made the right call there. Because I've always liked Mark Williams, but
yeah. No, the issue with any Charlotte Hornet is knowing if they can play in the playoffs or not. So, it's tough. But okay, who was 11 and 12?
11 was a coward. That's who the Grizzlies traded up for. I need to figure out who 12 was. Oh my God, Shams is only tweeting them if he's spoiling them. That's making this a lot harder.
Noah Essingway to the Bulls.
That's a very Bulls pick.
Yeah.
His team's in their league finals right now, and he's they're playing tonight or today. They played earlier today because they're in Europe. No, and he was like, "No, I'll be at the green room." I mean, I guess you only get drafted once.
Okay, another Spurs pick. I mean, Carter Bryant just fell to them. I mean, he's not. Yeah, okay, he's 3. Jace Richardson is still there. Jace Richardson, I don't love. Just feel like at best he'll be a JJ Redick type Malik Monk, maybe of a shooting only, really. But I'm surprised Carter Bryant's falling this far. I would be surprised if the Spurs don't grab him right here. I mean, he's a 3-and-D, one of the most ready 3-and-D guys in this class, and they could use him easily. He could plug right in.
I was gonna say the 3-and-Ds are Harrison Barnes and Champagny. Did they either have Julian or Justin? I think it's Justin. They're the one that was on the Sixers too, which is why I should remember.
Justin Champagny, yeah.
Justin. But that's it, wing wise, right?
Exactly. So I'm like,
here we go.
There it is.
There you go. Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah. Worst dress.
Oh, I was gonna say the name on the sleeve really makes it seem asymmetrical too. He's got them on both sleeves. It's quite a fit. But did Ace change, by the way? Because it looked like he had a really bad fit on pregame, but then when he got drafted, it looked better. I don't know.
I didn't really see any of their pre-draft looks. I know he had a jacket that it has a bunch of family photos. He must have. I think I saw something that he hired someone earlier today or last night, and that every on-camera thing he's had today, he's been very buttoned up, very trying to do his best to change the narrative. But it's obviously too little too late. But his jacket has, I'm a family man. I got all. He literally was like, I'm a family man. And it's all these
11th
photos,
hour PR changes.
all these photos of him and his family, which is awesome and objectively is good. Like you'd rather have that than something else, but like it's just in the big picture, you're like, that's funny that I only heard somewhere that he hired someone else, and now it's like crossing his T's, dotting his I's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised Carter Bryant fell this far. This feels like literally, I feel like I could have watched him in the finals 2 weeks ago. Kind of, I feel like he would fit right in. But I'm curious. You know, this Yakichonis kid, I'll be honest. When I watched him play, I did not like it at all. Even in the March Madness as well. I felt like it was like almost like a college kind of scoring. And everyone was projecting him like 9. And he's just falling and falling and falling. That could be one of those like Podziemski. I don't know how late he was, but these like he could end up being like this maxi kind of faller that ends up in like the 20th pick. Same with
You said Yakichonis, right? My AirPods died.
Yeah, Yakichonis.
Yeah.
You know, he was mocked way high. Now he's falling, and you know, I don't think the Thunder are going to pick him.
No.
And I'm curious who the Thunder pick. To have the 15th overall pick, I mean, they could have had the 7th, but to have the 15th overall pick after winning the championship is pretty nice. And you're going to get I mean, Jay Richardson would make a lot of sense. Of just like, hey, he has NBA level shooting. Let's just put him right in. Like, but
not just that. I believe it was Wendy was saying yesterday that the Thunder were trying to get into the top 10. So
they got to consolidate somehow.
Yeah, I was like, at what point can that? Yeah.
There's only 2 ways to do it. You either consolidate or you backload all the picks to continuously try to always have 2 picks in the first round.
No, I guess trading up is no.
You know what I mean? So it's like you either stockpile them and it's like get the guy, but
I wonder who they could have liked.
Yeah. I don't know, Josh. I might be calling in here soon on the stream side of things because
it's
probably not much else Sixers related going to happen. Paul's probably swamped.
I mean, Daryl's literally talked, so I feels pretty good about them not making any more moves tonight.
There's going to be one year where they're like, "Oh, we're talking. We're going to talk to the media," and then they go back, run to the room. All right, let's do the trade. We're back in round 1. That would be fun. I would love to see that one.
I see. It would also be a Daryl move. Daryl's the type of guy that likes to talk only after he has had time to collect himself and knows exactly what he's done.
Yeah.
But that would also be something you do, so we couldn't ask him about it. Like, availability's already happened. See you guys.
Yeah, just traded away Embiid and Paul George. Have a good night. But no, yeah. So thank you for stopping by. It's been a lot of fun.
It's fun.
You know, a lot of trades already. I'm sure the back end of this first round will be crazy. I'm curious your thoughts real quick on a 2-night event. You know, I'm curious what they're never going to say it, but I'm curious what the ratings will be tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I absolutely hate it.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea. But I'll catch you later. Whoever's still tuning in, I hope you guys enjoyed. This will be up on YouTube as well. And I will catch you guys later.
Go see what we have up on the site after the night.
Absolutely. I apologize. Go check out everything Josh has written on libertyballers.com and obviously everything Paul Harrison has written and everyone else at Liberty Ballers. Go subscribe to the YouTube, like the video, and we will see how VJ Edgecombe plays out. So that is all I got.
Should be fun summer league, yeah.